Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 26 of Over the Head podcast with Hartsey and Rat. Get right into it, Hartsey. Coming out of week 8, Fairfield, Connecticut, PLL weekend, and we have a game of the year candidate on our hands with the ABC game, Boston Cannons, Denver Outlaws, 18-17. We were talking, I think this was 2 weeks ago, about like the abomination of an all-star game taking one of the ABC slots, because it's not like this game is like, if you could showcase pro lacrosse, this is the game you show them. I mean, it was just like the most entertaining game of the season, highlight goals all over the place. It felt like there were more behind the back goals than there were regular old, overhand or sidearm shots. It was like every fucking goal was behind the back in some way, and like normal behind the backs weren't cool enough to compare to some of the other crazy shit that was happening. But it was also physical. It was chippy. There was ref drama. Like, the game was epic. And the Outlaws come out on top, 18-17 win, survive a late offsides mistake by Pat Cav. We normally go in order, but I think just given both the importance, but really just the quality of that game, would love to start there. What was your reaction? I know, we talked a lot about it. The Outlaws obviously streaking. The Cannons really needed it, and it showed. You got this is the Cannons we were used to seeing, where they just tend to outfight people and play extremely hard and make it extremely physical. It feels like the Outlaws just kind of soaked the Cannons' best punch here and still came away with a win. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, beginning of the game, Cannons had slow start. I think it was 3-0 in the first, with 9 minutes to go in the first quarter, down 3-0, and you're kind of like, oh god, is this going to be
more? Didn't they get it to 5? You're right. They jumped on them early.
Yeah, it was 3-0, and then the Cannons scored the next two. And then I think the first quarter ended 6-6.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
But it was right off the rip, the Cannons didn't get off the bus, it looked like, and the Outlaws came out hot. And obviously Pat Cavanaugh playing his former team, probably a little bit of motivation there, right? He had, I think, ended with 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists. And then Brennan O'Neill just, he's just, he might be one of the guys in the league that's pretty uncoverable, right? I think, Matt Dunn, Zappatello was guarding him when the Whip Snakes played him. He's just so big and can move so quickly. It's really tough to guard him. And he's just, he's playing, I don't want to say John Grant Jr., but some of the goals he does and the shots, the twisters.
Yeah, John Grant Jr., but faster.
Yeah, John Grant Jr., but faster.
Now, he doesn't score. Grant scored more. You still get these games from O'Neill where he doesn't light up the stat sheet somehow.
Yeah.
But as far as a cover, I mean, it seemed like John Grant Jr., he scored a lot of those goals on the lefty pipe, just finishing on fast breaks and things like that. He also did the spectacular stuff. It seems like with Brennan, he never scores an easy goal. It's always kamikaze dive behind the back through the legs, on the run 16 yards. He never is just sitting on the back pipe and catching it and dunking it. It's always complicated and crazy.
Yeah, and it's Bernhardt too, right? That they had I don't know how many points they all had together. Bernhardt had 4 goals. Crease Gate, he stepped in the crease 3 times, I think. But
can we talk about that real quick? And I know we're gonna end up just jumping all over the place with this game, but so he had 4 goals. He was in the crease on, I think, the first goal that they did challenge.
Yeah,
but I don't understand that, because I'm I see, to me looking, it looked pretty clear, and I get it. They're gonna say not definitive, but it looked fucking definitive to me on the first goal that his foot was in the crease. Yeah, then obviously they run out of challenge and they can't challenge the most absurd, not even fucking close, full foot in the crease before takeoff. That, I mean, when you get to the end of the game, because of the way the game went, and goal, and it ending with the Cannons man up and not able to score, that kind of saves the refs here a little bit to me, where it's not the main story. But that in the crease goal by Bernhardt was a massive miss. The Cannons had a 1-goal lead. They come out of a timeout. He scores that. They get the ball back on the next faceoff and they score again. And it's a 2-goal swing.
Yeah.
If that's that's the game. And the Cannons, here's the thing that makes no fucking sense. I was saying the other week that I loved how it seemed like PLL replay always just kind of got it right. Like they didn't have too many rules to stop refs from going over to the replay booth and just fixing things that were wrong. This one was an example of that. Brian Holman uses his challenge. He loses the first challenge on that Bernhardt call, which again, I didn't agree with. Like from the angle I saw, I would have had the courage to make that call. Like his foot was on the crease. You couldn't see any green between his foot and the white line. They lose that challenge. Then he challenges another Bernhardt in the crease and he wins it. Right. So he's used his 2 challenges. You only get 2 challenges for the game. He won one of the challenge. Like you shouldn't lose a challenge if you win it. He should have won both of them, in my opinion. Then there's another in the crease that's so absurdly blatant.
His whole entire foot. Yeah.
And we can't change it because he's, quote, out of challenges, even though he won the second challenge. Like you shouldn't be, first off, you should never be out of challenges, or you definitely shouldn't be penalized for losing a challenge. You shouldn't, if you win the challenge, you should not lose one of your 2 challenges for the games. But also, like the NFL, every touchdown's reviewed, every goal should be reviewed. Like you shouldn't have to challenge that. And the way that they handled it on the broadcast, where it was just like, oh, we're going to move on because they can't, like that sucks, because it makes you as a viewer feel like you're an idiot being like, yo, the game should not continue. They did it on the Marcus 2-pointer, where it seemed like they got the call wrong at first. They called Marcus's 2-pointer a 1, and then like magically the table kind of just changed it to a 2, and they just carried on. The same thing should have happened here. Seth Tierney should have been like, Maddie, like he's in the crease, no goal. And that just seems like something that the PLL, I'll give them credit. They usually are good about quickly fixing this. Like they need to quickly fix that. We don't need to wait till next season. Like if a goal is not a goal and you can see it clear as day up on the table, there should not need to be a coach's challenge. You should just whistle down to Matt and say, nope, crease, clear. Again, you can't definitively say the Cannons win the game, but that was pretty late in the game. The Cannons had a lead. And again, that led to 2 back-to-back Outlaw goals, which totally changes the game. Like that was really bad. And it was a bummer to watch because it wasn't even close. Like,
and I don't know, and I don't know what the rules are with the challenge stuff, but it also sounds like they challenge stuff at times, under 2 minutes, they were looking at stuff, the offsides they looked at, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Under 2 minutes, they have different rules.
Yeah. But then why do the 2-pointers, like, so they don't have a challenge. So Marcus hits a 2, but they called it a 1 and then they change it on the fly. So like, it doesn't make sense.
But what Matty Palin said on that was he said, we called it a 2. The scoreboard just got it wrong. But I'm pretty sure they didn't. I'm pretty sure they just like, so this is what I mean. And I would prefer that. I don't care if you missed it and then they just fix it. Like the viewer just wants to see the right call. Yeah. You don't have to have like the perfect structure to get to the right call. Just get to the right call and everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah. And I don't think we need to be like, this is the thing with the NFL too. It's like, are we stopping, the flow of the game with all these freaking camera angles, the reviews? I kind of don't like, I like that they get it right, but I also like, if you're going to do it one way, you're going to have to like, you got to review everything. If it's a crease dive goal at any point in the game and you have any, like in the back of your mind, even if the coach is yelling at you, like, hey, we're on the iPad, like he's in the crease, and you're like, no, we're just not reviewing it. Like that's just a big thing that I think needs to be, maybe it's in the rule changes, but like it doesn't.
They shouldn't need to like. So here's the other thing that I hear you on that. Like you don't want to. Matty Palin doesn't need to go over to the screen and put on headphones and watch.
No,
you know what? Give me a phone. Give me the rat phone, right? I'll watch the ABC. If you're not sure, Matty, say, Rat, what's the call? And I'll say he's in the crease. Boom, play on. It'll be done in 4 seconds. Like it's just like they have the technology, but they're still making it like stop the game, ref go over to the booth. That's what takes so long. Seth Tierney knows exactly what the fuck he's watching. He's sitting right up there with the screen. He could literally like you could do that shit without the ref having to even go over there and get it done in 30 seconds or less every time. And just again, I don't know, it's not like review every call. Like I'm not saying you review slashes, but every goal should be a quick confirm that's a goal.
Yeah.
And if there's a goal, you're already stopping the game anyway because you're going up to the
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, are we doing too much? Like if there's 10 crease dive goals, are they going to review every one of them? And like the rules are the rules are the rules. Like they're, you have a challenge. And then the other thing that I do not know that I would like more information on is, the goalies are on the iPad. So like when there's a crease dive or something happens and they think that like on their iPad, is it the same exact feed as it is on TV? Because I know there's some players are up in arms a little bit about. I don't think score breaks there anymore. The film's kind of shitty this year. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on it, but like if they're looking at that iPad and it's clear as day on the iPad, but then the Palom comes over that giant screen and it's a different camera angle, like that's a problem. Like that, they need to have consistency across the board on the film review and like
Yeah,
whatever they're looking at on the iPad. But
I don't
yeah,
know about that one, but to me, again, if you're only going to give coaches 2 challenges, they shouldn't ever have to challenge a goal, a 1 or a 2 or a crease time. Like you're saying, like, are we going to do it 10 times? Yes. Every time they dive and score, you have at least 45 seconds to a minute before they're back at the face-off X to do it.
yeah,
I'm not saying you send Palom over to the box. You just have Seth and Mick or whoever the hell the ops team is sitting over there in on the booth, Rachel, and set the precedent. We're gonna watch it once and
yeah,
quickly confirm or deny. We don't have to sit here but like you would be able to get that done without slowing the flow of the game at all. By the time the next face-off starts, if Palom and the refs go through their normal mechanics, goal, team huddles up to celebrate. We throw the ball up to the midline. By the time they get to the midline, they could look over at Seth and he can thumbs up and we're off and running. And if it's, oh, no crease, no goal, then we run back. And like Maddie going over there and putting on the headset, which I don't even know what the headset's for. Like, who are you talking to? Everybody's right there. That's what takes
yeah,
so long. So just have the people at the table who are already watching the game. Seth does such a great job when they bring him on the broadcast. Like he's the perfect person for it. He obviously knows what he's watching. He's very decisive, quick decision maker, concise communicator. Like just let him watch it. And if it's a 95% of goals will take literally 0.5 seconds to confirm. And
yeah,
then the other 5% are just, was his foot on the line, 1 or 2, was his foot in the line in the crease, and watch it once. And again, if you end up getting that Bernhardt, that first one wrong, because it's like, I'll live with that. I wouldn't be that upset with that if there weren't the other ones, but then I'm just kind of like, so if it's really close, you go with the call on the field. And then
yeah,
if a coach wants to challenge that and say, come dig in more and more, sure. But like, none of the calls that we're talking about, Marcus's 2, Bernhardt's in the crease, would have taken more than 3 seconds for somebody to look at. And so that was like a one bummer, but again, just it was a high drama game and like it is what it is. This is part of the game. And luckily it didn't feel like the deciding factor in the game because the Outlaws got the lead. Then the Cannons still ended up taking the lead back. Then they were scoring so many goals that it didn't feel like one goal was going to make or break anything. So let's talk about, and again, we're going to spend a decent amount of time on this game. Just it was the best game. I think it was the most interesting by far of the weekend. But I want to start with giving. We always kind of go into to the Cannons. I want to start with giving the Outlaws their flowers. So again,
fuck the Cannons. No,
Pat Cavanaugh has 2 goals, 3 assists. Like it wasn't what he's been doing. Like he he shot 20%. He had a few turnovers, but like 5 points on an off, quote unquote off day. Like still a
dude,
very good performance.
he also missed a couple like on the doorstep.
Yeah, he hit a pipe.
Pipes. Like,
Yeah,
he could have wind up with like 8 points.
No doubt.
Obviously got to bury him, but like there was some.
He was active. He was active. He looked good. Dalton Young, like, is that piece. Like any team like this that has these like star powers. Dalton Young is like the Ryan Ambler to me of this group with the last 2 years with the Archers, where it's like you look at Tom and Grant and Fields, and then there's like this other guy that like nobody's paying attention to who just makes all the right plays.
Dude, we had him like I had him like last year.
Shout out Richmond Spiders.
Yeah, like he was on the scouting report for us last year. Like he's former attackman, doing a great job running.
Thick boy too. He squeezes that face into that helmet. He's got like the thick cheeks.
Tough kid. He's a really good player, man. He's a good supplemental player for them. And obviously you're surrounded by all those Torton winners and like one guy on that offense. I still like Wisnauskas has not really been producing that much. This game, I think he had like 1 point. Man, I want to see Bernhardt down at attack. I don't know when we're going to see it.
But why? Why?
Because he's getting
just scored 17 goals.
Yeah, but he's getting a pole anyway, and he's like missing some shifts. He's not on the field all the time. Having him on the field every single possession, I think, is going to unlock another power to their offense.
I push back. I think maybe next year, but like I don't know if you don't fuck with them right now. Like they've won 4 straight games. Like why would you just change something just to change something? I honestly think because Wisnauskas is soaking a pole. So yeah, Bernhardt's getting a pole, but he's getting the LSM. He also
Yeah.
didn't get. I mean, a lot of these goals he ran by shorties. He came out of a timeout and they had Goodrich on him. And he just cooked him and he
Yeah.
went in the crease. But like, and I think the other thing about having him up top, and like I've pointed this out a bunch. I mean, the Archers, the Water Dogs used to do it. But what like it makes it so it frees up the rest of your midfield too. Like if all of a sudden you take well, first off, Wisnauskas can't run midi, so you're taking him out of the lineup, and you're who knows who you're sticking in. And
Yeah.
now your midfielders, which I don't know, like they're not getting a ton of production anywhere else in the midfield. Now Justin Anderson or Graham Bundy, who neither of them are doing much anyway, are now like dealing with poles. I don't really know. I agree with you about him being on the field all the time, but man, he had four goals playing midfield. Like
Yeah. I
Wisnowski
just
stands
think,
down there and soaks a pole.
yeah, Wisnowski, but also like, Kavanaugh, O'Neill, and Bernhardt. You got to slide. You got to have somebody ready to slide to all three of them. When Wisnauskas is dodging, they can kind of like.
Yeah, but he doesn't dodge. When does he dodge?
I understand that, but I'm saying that there's three dodging attackmen, especially Bernhardt dodging from X. You have to slough in as a defense, and that's going to open up Graham Bundy for 2-pointers. And it is what it is. I mean, you're right too. Like him running out of the box is obviously working for them. I'm just saying I want to see him play his natural position at attack. But yeah, we might not see it.
I just think like it's kind of like a one ball sort of thing. Like you could put him down there, but like I just don't know how much that really changes about what they do. And then again, Wisnauskas cannot run midfield. He can barely move.
No.
Now he's having to run to the box, which could fuck your transition defense. So you need to have somebody else on that roster that you want to play. That I guess Dalton Young's their best midi. Now Dalton Young's getting a pole. Like and Dalton Young's scoring 5 points because he's got a shorty because Bernhardt has to soak the pole. Like I think look, I agree. Like Wisnauskas doesn't look great, but like he stands down there and soaks a pole. And I do think like teams probably should look at shorting him, right, and double polling Young and Bernhardt out of the box. But then like that's more complicated. Now you're making teams bump a close D guy up. Like I just think Archie, like the best offenses. And I mean, I know this because you're big on the double pole when you were with the Cannons. Like, I think the best offenses demand double polling generally. Yeah. And like you could look at it this year and say it's these teams, it's the Atlas and the Water Dogs who have 3 attackmen who can burn you. Like, I think you could make an argument there, but like look at the Archers. I mean, I think the Water Dogs you can say the same thing about they kind of demand double polling too because they have Jake Taylor down there. That would be my concern with moving him down. And I just think next year, like if something doesn't change, Wisnauskas is going to be down. And I think like next year you go into the season with O'Neill, Cav, and Bernie, and like you let it ride. But man, I wouldn't fuck with anything right now like that. They look so good.
I'm just saying, I just want to see it. I'm not. Yeah, you're right. I think, but like at the end of the day, Pat Cavanaugh is playing like an MVP right now. He's, that had to be hard to watch for the Cannons yesterday. I mean, obviously he didn't want to be there, and that is what it is. But like watching him play, he looks like, that senior year Cavanaugh of old right now. How he's playing, and it's the Outlaws are scary right now, man. It's their offense is freaking hitting on all cylinders.
Like that fire that I was kind of complaining about early in the season is there. Like Cavs playing with fire. O'Neill was getting up and flexing on people after goals. Like they've kind of found their swagger. And I mean, Cav, O'Neill, Bernhardt. I mean, those 3 are all MVP quality players. Like they're all.
Kid. Yeah, he's a kid I like to go have a beer with. I just want to see what he's like, Brendan O'Neill. You think he's like awkward, or I just want to have a cocktail?
His interviews are again. This whole team is like taking on. They all kind of have this personality. Like they're very, dude. It's so crazy how things can change over the course of a season. But it's like they now have the feel to me of a Sudan Rats team, where it is like a little bit of like us against the world, like. That old Rats group that he used to have, and it was Manley, right? Was always kind of a key, but then it was like a lot of the Duke guys. It was Jordan Wolf, and it was Crotty, and then it was Joel and Galloway, and like I don't know, they always kind of had their own personality, a little bit of like kept to themselves. Definitely not like media darling vibes at all, like that kind of fuck you vibes, if anything. This team feels like that. Like none of these guys are like are stars of the vlog, right? But like. In the beginning of the season, it's like, okay, I'm saying you don't have any charisma that the charisma is standing up when you're Brendan O'Neill and flexing on Kilty or on Epple after racking him. Where I heard him talking to Kirst, I'm going high every time. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like you don't have to be, you just have to play with that kind of fire, and they're doing that. And like, I mean, look, we always overreact. It's a week to week league. Things change really quick, but them in the Atlas right now, like, have the same feel where it's like, man, these offenses are just
hitting on all cylinders,
like,
man.
I don't know how to, like how you game plan for them. Cause I was beaten up. So let's go to the Cannon side of this. The Cannons deserve a lot of credit. Like the Cannons played hard as shit. They needed this. They were, losing 3 straight. Like the Cannons offense, it's so easy to dissect and talk about. Like we're not getting much out of Asher. Maxey, they put Manny in for Maxey. Like we hadn't gotten much out of Maxey on the left side. Like Marcus's numbers aren't as good. The Cannons offense I think it's either the most or the second most goals in the Eastern Conference. Like, and their efficiency is in the top 2 or 3 in the league. Like their offense is getting it done. Matt Campbell gets it done consistently. Jenner continues to get it done. Marcus plays with that swagger, hits a huge 2, also hits a 1. The 2 games that Will Manny has played, they've scored 16 and 17 goals. He had 3 goals in one of those games. He had 1 today. The thing that I think he does better than McAsee is move. When you watch the Cannons offense with Will at attack, he's talking and he's moving. And
even on Marcus that button hook goal where he like wrapped around, caught shoot. Will was below Marcus and slipped to the back pipe and drew a defenseman to open up that space. That shit you don't see on film, and then the fans aren't going to see on film. But like to your point, you finish, then I'll jump.
What makes it's what you just called out. I was literally explaining this to somebody where there's obvious ways you impact a game: score sheet, goals, assists. But the amount of goals in a 6-on-6 offense that happened because this guy cut here, which opened up this space, which this person filled into, which then when the 2 side went and the skip came and the step down goal, like that stuff happens all the time. That's the stuff that Ryan Ambler wins Teammate of the Year for on the Archers the last 2 years. So often it's just hard pick, hard cut. He came out of the box and sprinted and cut and called for the ball, and everybody collapsed, and a skip went through to Tom, and now Tom's dodging an approach. I think Will is bringing and brought in this game a lot of that to the Cannons offense. So he didn't fill the stat sheet. The play you described is a perfect example. He cleared the space. Marcus ended up popping. Asher found him. That was the first goal for Marcus. So I think that they probably ride him down there the rest of the season. Like you gave Maxey 4 games, and he was fine. I don't think that you're out on him in the future. But like he was scoring the goals when he had open shots, right? Like scoring the ones he was supposed to. He ran by a shorty here or there. But this movement and the success in transition, the spacing on transition offense with Will in there too, just to me looked better. I would almost wonder if they don't look at Maxey at midfield.
I was just about. I'm literally about to dive into that. But I think you got to put Maxey in midfield for 2 reasons. One, I think you already touched on it, but Will's IQ in this league and how long he's played, he's bringing way more to the table via, he missed a couple shots. He probably could have walked away with his goal with having a hat trick. There was one he caught on the left side, shot it, I think, stick side high, and then the other one he hit low, kind of hit his foot or some shit. But like McAsee, is not pushing the issue of dodging poles, right? We said when he was going against Gavin Adler, couldn't create any separation. I talked to somebody else, he can't, that's not a good matchup for him. He needs a short stick. So at the end of the day, I think he needs to be open to coming out of the midfield. I don't know how he is as a person, if he's, no, I want to play attack, but I think they got to bring him out of the midfield. I think them bringing him out of the midfield and dodging him from that left wing, maybe running a 2-man game with Will Manny. Jules Hennenberg's going to get a short stick. He looked great in this game. And then obviously Matt Campbell's getting the pole on that. So I think, and then they might, teams might start shorting Will Manny and then they'll pull McAsee. But I think they have to bring him out of the box, right? They have a bye week this week, Salt Lake City. That's their bye week. They get a week to think about it, look at film. Coaches can dive in. But like you said, the 2 times he's been in the lineup, they've scored almost 20 goals.
So I agree. And so if you look at their offense, and then I want to switch because I think their offense is actually they're okay. I mean, you still want to get more from Asher. He still ends up with 5 assists, but he's just not dodging the score at all. He's getting dumb. I mean, he does not look good. Hopefully it's at this point, I don't know really what you can do, but certainly it doesn't look like he's in great shape. And it's kind of like this is what you're going to get from him. But again, they score 16 goals. Like it still might be enough with Campbell and
Yeah.
Drenner and Holman and some of these other guys. I just think that you're basically looking at like, look, Kirst was awesome. I think Kirst and Mick Kelly to me in some ways have been competing. Mick Kelly played D Mitty his first year at Denver. So I think they look at him similar to Kirst, where it's like, are you that kind of last midi that can like mainly play offense, but could be the guy that kind of stays and plays defense too? They've always kind of had that guy, the rover position. I would say like Jeff Trainer is their version of that on defense, where like you're a D midi, but you can stay and do some stuff on offense. He had a great game, which was good to see, by the way, kind of waiting for him to pop a little bit this season. And then Kirst has been that guy. I don't know that you play Kirst and Mick Kelly. I mean,
I think Mick Kelly. I think Mick Kelly was absolutely horrible in this game. Right? He had five shots.
This is where it's so hard because it's just again week to week. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, well, Mick Kelly's the first line midi with Drenner and Campbell on this team because he played great in Baltimore, wherever it was, and he scored goals. So this is where these decisions become hard because I think you're looking at like McAsee, Jules, and Mick Kelly. Like if you're going to stick with Will at lefty attack, you're looking at Maxey, Jules, and Mick Kelly for 2 spots, basically, and stick with Kirst, which I think it's hard not to. I mean, he had 3 goals. I just look at he's just big, strong, physical. He can do a lot. There's been times this year where I've been more down on him, but as you go to a playoff stretch, I don't wonder that he's just kind of a guy. He's a foxhole guy.
Yeah.
So
there's some
interesting decisions there.
Yeah, and their next game's the Water Dogs. So the problem you're going to run into there with, dressing Maxey at midfield, and then is they're going to run them in transition, right? Dylan Hess, Switcher, they're going to keep them on the field, and guess where they're going to go down to? They're going right down to Mike Sowers. They're going to set picks, and that you got to deal with that too. But yeah, that should be something like if I'm, on the Cannon staff, Coulter McAsee, I'm having him watching D-film picks and like how that defense works because like you got to get those.
Good luck.
I know, but like you have
guy's been the number one attackman his whole career. Like it's just that's not going to go well.
Yeah, but you gotta. Yeah, but if you're running him out of the box, he better know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but he's got to be the one that gets off. Like out of all of their middies, if he's on the field,
ain't gonna happen every time. They're gonna have to.
I would argue that it does. Like every team's got one guy that they don't get trapped on defense more than one time a game, maybe. Like you don't see Tom Schreiber on defense ever. Like you can get guys off.
He gets stuck on the field. But I'm just saying, if I'm the Water Dogs, Witcher, Ben Ware, and fucking Dylan Hess, stay on the field. Run them down. If you get stuck, go right to Sowers, set a pick, and then try to get off on that. That's my game plan on that. But
no, I mean I do agree with you. I just don't know that. Like again, I think when you go in, you do know like you have that order, and even if Maxey's on the far side from the box, you just stop him like an attackman, and you get the near side attackman off. Yep. Shit, have Marcus run back on D before Coulter does. Like I just think you probably can protect him. Again, maybe it happens once in a game, but I think he's the one you protect. But like, so now let's talk about their defense. So first off, they're giving up a couple two. Like for the first shot for Colin Kirst to see to be a Jake Piscino. By the way, we didn't mention him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
For it to be a step down 2, wide open step down 2, and in transition defense, Drenner, who is smart, vet, love him. Like he floats over to the guy running out of the box who's not a 2-point threat, who also has like somebody already kind of on him, and he just leaves. Like the lack of 2-point line awareness to me there is just like it's unforgivable. Like you can't do it. Let the fucking shorty cut the crease by himself and stay out here on the 2. And I know because we both know how Gitz kind of leads that defense is that, we know that's an emphasis. And for the first goal to get like the first shot your goalie sees to be the best long pole offensive player in the league right now, to get a wide open step down 2, like that's not going to get you into any sort of a rhythm. Like Colin is not playing great. He was 10 saves. He was
30, like 36% or 37%. Yeah, it's not good, man.
But you're not doing anything to help him there. Like you take away the fucking 2. Like it's just like that one really bugs me. And again, like Drenner's so good. And I mean, I know it's hard to run back from O to D, but there's got to be better awareness or better communication from Epple or from the defense, whoever it is, to just like make sure everybody sees, take that guy away, leave the shorty, let him cut the crease alone. Like I would rather have a guy full speed have to catch it and finish on Kirst on the run inside than let Piscino shoot a step down 2 wide open to start the game. Like it's just so it's to me, it's just like those are the type of mistakes that the Cannons defense all fucking season has been making, and it's like, when are we going to clean this up? And then, dude, like I'm concerned about like these guys who are. I mean, Epple's a great. I mean, but maybe borderline all time great defensive player in this league. His confidence is as low as I've ever seen it right now. And I mean, you're right. Like Brendan O'Neill is not a fun matchup, but Brendan O'Neill ran by him whenever he wanted. Like he got underneath him over and over and over again in this game. He hurt him off ball. Like he doesn't look like he has confidence. Like he's not playing like a number one guy. You know, Keelty, I think is playing the best on that group. But we've talked about this. Like he doesn't have the foot speed right now to run with I think a Schellenberger or a Sowers or a, and then like Bryce Young, same thing. Like just the not playing with a ton of confidence. And the thing with Bryce too is, you know, he's kind of a do it all. He can cover the ball, but he's always been good off ball. They're never ready to slide when the amount of times that they've had bad matchups or situations where there's absolutely no reason for a slide to be late and their slides aren't getting there on time is absurd. Like the Outlaws, the goal where Bernhardt was in the crease, the Outlaws come out of a timeout and you have a short stick on Bernhardt behind the cage, no ball movement, no nothing, come out of a timeout, Bernhardt with a shorty, which also that makes no sense. And then you don't slide. He just runs underneath and dunks the ball on your goalie, and like there's no slide. It's just like I don't understand what's going on. And then they get, you know, then Bryce Young gets a dumb penalty for a late hit late in the game, and it gives up a 2-minute, you know, non-releasable. It's like, where's the hit when Bernhardt's diving underneath earlier in the game, as opposed to like when it's a really bad time and you know to take the penalty. They just feel like they're searching for something they can't find defensively, and it's not pretty.
Coming out of this game, watching it, I did not agree with their matchups. I thought Epple should have been on Wisnauskas. I would have put Bryce Young over on O'Neill, just from like, I think where Epple thrives at is guarding that third guy, and he's able to be off ball, roam, disrupt. But like, I just didn't agree with that matchup, and I think you're right. His confidence doesn't look great right now. I think two of those Brendan O'Neill goals where he got beat underneath, stick at his hip, and he's usually like Mr. Fundamental, right? Notre Dame product. Like it just looks like, you know, and their defense right now, you hit on it, like they're sliding and then like they're not sliding. It just looks like they're a little lost off the ball. I don't know if it's a communication breakdown.
And Hartsey, we've been calling for them to start switching picks. They're switching picks, but then when they're getting the switches onto the matchups, they're not sliding. Like the whole point of switch everything defense is to make the decision making easy.
Yeah.
Okay, we switched. Now, it's Bernhardt or Pat Cav on a shorty. Everybody on our D knows that we're going to have to slide to this. So the two sides are going to be on time. Like it's not switch because you can just win matchups with shorties. It's like, take the thinking out of it. We're going to switch picks. And then when we get bad matchups, we're going to slide and we're going to slough and we're going to make them throw 3, 4, or 5 adjacent passes and shoot contested step downs. Like it's not, and it just, everything looks complicated for them defensively. They're not hard switching. Then they switch and then they're just leaving guys on an island against a short pole. And it's kind of like,
they're not a right. You look at the Carolina Chaos, their whole defensive game plan, their DNA is not sliding, right? I think Cannons need to buy into sliding, pack that arc in, and like you're going to have to give up through passes and skips. You have Ethan Rawl, Owen Grant, one of the best sticks in the game, like pick and pat. You got to buy into sucking in as a defense and sliding, recovering. I think they really need this week. Watch film, learn from that, because the last couple games, man, they've been sliding and then no one's there for a 2 slide. I think there was one Kavanaugh dodged and then it was just literally a mirror. He dodged and then the mirror went.
Little hedge from Young, feet across crease.
No 2 slide. They were all backs turned to the play. Nobody was sideways. I think they just need to do simple better is fundamentals is like off ball, be sideways, and they need to pack it the fuck in. They need to pack it in and they need to slide as a group. And I think I'm not writing them off. I'm not writing them off. I think they get a week off to figure it out, and then you know what's coming down the pipeline is the Philadelphia Water Dogs in Denver. That is going to be their game of the year. It's a must win for them. You look at the standings, the Whip Snakes.
It's a must win.
The goal differential is fucking them right now, and they need to make a statement win. And I think in Denver is going to be a big test for them. And I think that'll be the defense has got to step up to the plate.
So my final word on this game, because I know we spent a lot of time on it, but obviously a great game. I totally agree. The Cannons are in must-win scenarios the rest of the way. Do you move Owen Grant down low for that O'Neal matchup? Would have been one other thought I have.
Dude,
I mean, Hasek.
he looked like he wasn't. I know he got injured in that. I don't know if that was last week.
I
He
know.
looked like he was
No,
moving pretty gingerly.
nobody on their defense looks like they're moving great right now, Kyle, to be honest with you. Like the D middies look fine, but like nobody else on the defense is moving very good. So they got to figure that out. And then look, Tucci goes 30% of the faceoff X and gets a foul every single game.
Brian,
he's got it.
Brian absolutely hates that. I'm sure he was fucking screaming at him on the side. Had to be.
He's
the pushing the back was just so dumb. It was just
it's so dumb, dude. If you're gonna lose every faceoff, like, good Lord, just don't fuck up anything else. All right. So other games, and look, I think we can go quicker because again, I think that was the one to really dig into. I mean, other games to talk about. Look, the Atlas workmanlike over the Redwoods, 16-12. I don't think there's not a ton here. The Redwoods are finally like, it's just is what it is with them. They again, we've said this over and over and over again, but like they don't have an all pro player on that roster. Maybe TD, and he gets hurt. I mean, they were hanging in there. I think they had 8 goals all off of the faceoff.
Yep.
All when they were at like 8-8, it was every single goal came from a faceoff. So like maybe TD is your one all-pro player there in that situation. I mean, Tevlin is maybe kind of a borderline all-pro type two-way midi, but like they just don't have the Jimmys and Joes to hang. Like I felt like they actually played pretty well. Kastner, like it's funny because like Kastner's like preventing Shelley from getting to the goal and scoring, and Shelley ends with 7 assists.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that. The offense on the Atlas is again, it's one that's just like the moves that Pressler made, the line, I keep going back to it, but the lineup now that the Kelleher and Trainer and Bowering at midfield, and now apparently they're getting Doc Aiken back too. I guess he didn't make the EFL team or something.
I saw that, and I think I was texting with Mark. I was like, what? Like they're getting Doc Aiken now? Like what the fuck? That's gonna be a problem.
And then Entenmann's, like we've talked about it with their defense. Like I still don't love their defense, but Entenmann covers up like any of the kind of flaws that they have, and you've got Trevor. But like, so the Atlas just I don't know that there's like really a ton to learn. I think this was what you thought it was. You had a Redwoods team who played with fight, continues to kind of get the most out of what they have. They're just they're probably a year or two away from like really being able to reconstruct the roster in a way that is competitive with the top teams. Like that just is what it is. New York looks like a championship favorite. I mean, like they just, again, there's it's hard to point out any real flaws with that team. Is their defense been vulnerable at times? Yes, but when you have, I mean, Dixon's playing great, Schellenberger's playing great, Teet's playing great, like that midfield, that young midfield on offense is awesome. And now you're going to add Docs back into that mix. Danny Logan's like starting to look like himself again. Trevor's winning all the faceoffs. You're good at LSM. Like I just, it's hard to find flaws. And this was kind of one of those games like almost a little boring, just kind of like, hey, we're the better team and you guys are going to hang around for a while, but eventually like we're going to just wear you down and kind of pull away. The one shout out for me, like I will say, Chris Kavanaugh just continues to be a stud for
rookie of the year.
So he's definitely a bright spot, and McAdory continues to look really good. Like there's things to build around there for the Redwoods, but not enough.
Yeah, and we said this last week, but as a defense, the way you beat this team is limiting their attack. I mean, 16 points from those 3 down there is like you're not going to win a game.
Yeah, and when you stopped Shelley from scoring. And then it's like
that's what I'm saying. You like it's I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying the games where that attack is limited to like maybe 5 points as a group. Yep. Like that's when you have a chance to win it. Teams, certain teams match up differently against every team. But like Baptiste, I think this is the first game he might have lost in the faceoff department. He was 39%. TD was like 70%. Still losing the game. And the Redwoods. They obviously hot start to the season. They have some bright spots on that offense, but again, like you said it best. They're coming down to earth a little bit. Go ahead.
Well, so TD's winning 70%, and they have 8 goals off the faceoffs, and it's 8-8. Like that just shows the gap between the two teams. It's like you're dominating this part of the game so much, and you're still not like might have been 8-7, but it was like So like if you have 8 goals off the face-off, you should also have like 3 or 4 goals and you're 6-6, and you should be winning 12-6 or something. But so they're just not there. Romar, I think in the last 3 games, 3 2-pointers and a 1-point goal. Like we're seeing that Romar like that shows up every now and then and just like can't miss. He's been a little bit of a bright spot there. But again, there's not a whole lot to say there. Like the Atlas look great. They're going to be there. They're going to be there.
Yeah, they're going to be scary. They're going to be scary with Dox Aiken on the field. I mean, that's going to be an absolute mess.
It's just like the big battle here is going to be with them and the Water Dogs to get that 1 seed, because as we know, the 1 seed makes a huge difference. You get that bye, you're in the semifinals. So, every game's going to continue to matter for them. But again, right now, it's like even if they're not in the semifinals, like if the Water Dogs do pull off the 1 seed, the Atlas are going to be the favorites in that quarterfinal matchup.
Yep.
So okay, so then Archer's Chaos. So Chris Bates, like after the game, talking about reminding everybody we're the 2-time defending champs, and like
he got a little worked up there at the end, huh?
But like this wasn't really a game that reminded everyone. Like it's just like I hear you and I like it. Like you're the coach, you try to find that swagger, but they still look vulnerable as fuck. Like what you have this big lead, and then the offense once again just goes completely cold. And
well, they didn't go
Carolina.
Scott, they didn't go completely cold. Blaze Reardon, this guy named Blaze Reardon in between the pipes.
I mean, for sure. Like, but it's just like 12-11 over the Chaos. Like, who's like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, okay, I guess we'll remember, but you still don't look that good.
What the fuck is going on with Tom Schreiber? What is going on with our guy?
I mean, I hope this isn't the case, but it just seems like this Archers team just like doesn't really have a lot of gas. Like that's just kind of how it has seemed all season. Like Fields, who comes off an MVP NLL season, Tom, who's come off 5 straight years of being the best, one of the best players in both leagues. They just don't have like a lot of juice on offense. Look, Grant Ament, like he's producing a little bit, but like his body language is terrible. Like nobody seems happy out there. Like there's just a lot of frustration. The only guy right now that's like fun to watch on their offense is Sam King. We've talked about it. He looks like a stud. Mac O'Keefe continues to not produce really. Like it's just
half their goals, 6 of their goals came from their D middies, and Mason Woodward hit 2 2s, and then Bo Pedersen, Mayhair.
So that's what I'm saying. So yes, you get 6. It's like the offense did not play any better in this game. Now, and again, you can say Blaze and sure, like Blaze and the Chaos have found their normal Chaos selves where they're giving themselves a chance in every game because they're not, because they're holding teams to 12-11 or less or whatever. But we still just haven't seen a performance where it's like, here's 5 points from Grant. Here's 5 points from Tom, like, and Fields, like all in the same game. You're getting 2 of those 3, like, which have been the 3 guys that have really been the star players for them. I mean, last year you had the defensive, the midi of the year in Tom, the runner up for midi of the year in Grant, and, Fields might've been the best player on that offense, like despite that. And we're not seeing that right now. I mean, again, they're in the Archers are now in 2nd place in the Western Conference. So like, do you
big win? It was a huge win. If they drop this game, I think it's like
Well, with the way it's going for the Redwoods, it's not going to matter. Like the Archers are going to make the playoffs. So like, do you want to play them in the playoffs and you're in the Western Conference? And like, no, like it's. But would you feel confident in picking them to beat the Outlaws right now? Like, also no. They've got to at some point show more. And it's like the Outlaws are just sitting pretty over. I mean, so again, I still like look. This is the crazy thing with the Archers. Because of the Western Conference, and you go into a semifinal game, them and the Outlaws, and you have this Outlaws team that's unproven in the playoffs together, that's like never been in those tight moments. I mean, I would set that line at Outlaws -1. Like if you told me the Archers go in the Archers get who would it be? Get the Chaos in the quarterfinals, win, and then go in and play the Outlaws in the semis, and they beat the Outlaws, like that wouldn't surprise me at all. Because it's just like, again, you've seen them do it. Any given day, like what you have on the defense there. Which, by the way, like the kid Lavelle looks like a stud. Woodward's a stud. Like they just have not made any wrong calls and who they brought into that defense. Obviously, Hasek guards O'Neal better than anybody else in the league does, probably. So like definitely Hasek guards O'Neal better than anybody else in the league. So like, you're still in okay shape, but it wasn't an over-inspiring, performance from them. But they did what they needed to do, and then the Chaos. Look, It's Blaze. It's the defense is the defense. The defense is good. The rest of the team is.
With the chaos, like one thing I thought, Archers won the game, but watching the game, I thought the Chaos were in a position to win the game. And I don't know if this is coaching. I don't know where this is coming from. Owen Hiltz had 7 points in this game. He has 17 points on the year, and he's played in how many games has he played in? 4 games?
I think that's right.
I want to say he's played in 4 games. Yeah, he's played 4 games. He has 17 points. Chris Cavanaugh has 21 points. He's played in 7 games. I mean, Owen Hiltz, like we're saying Chris Cavanaugh Rookie of the Year, but Owen Hiltz, you got to put him in the conversation. The Peterborough product, like the end of the game, he took Graham Hossick to the rack twice. Like dodged him, took him to the rack. He took another short stick to the rack. He literally was like watching the game. I'm not going to compare him to Michael Jordan, but like he was like, give me the ball. Like, give me the ball. I'm fucking scoring. I'm going to score for us right now. And then like his assists, like the 2 assists that he had, like end of the game, they do not put the ball in his stick, which was, I like literally was going to throw my beer through the TV. Like they put the ball in Charlene Bede's stick and he threw a skip pass and went out of bounds. I literally like pulled my hat off my head and I was so frustrated watching that. It's like, how do you not just get him the ball? You don't even have to draw up a play. Just, hey, let's run a big little. Let's let Owen figure it out. He'll figure it out. Like that was really frustrating watching that. But a bright spot for this offense has been Owen Hiltz. And you were right, like in the beginning of the year, like talking about the draft. And this kid, like he has been playing out of this world. Dude, the one goal he had, like one-handed, just threw it off hip as he was dodging, just one hand on his stick and just threw it off hip on Dobson. Like this guy's playing with a ton of confidence and like. It's just shocking that they didn't put the ball on his stick at the end of the game. And like, I was just like really frustrated watching that, but
thank you for saying that. Cause I was about to gloss over it. So we've seen the Chaos defense and I need to always remember to say Rowlett, Newman, Ray, and Blaze.
And Scott Smith, he scored a huge goal off the wing.
So year over year, that core defense has been great. Scott Smith was a wonderful trade and pickup for them. He looks very good. So it's bolstered them defensively. Right? Like they're very good there. And Blaze goes 60%. By the way, Dobson also went 60%, 15 saves, 17 saves. Like, you got 2 great fucking goalies there. And then on offense now, consistently, Owen Hiltz and Ross Scott are playing very good. Like Ross Scott is legit. He's fast as fuck. I mean, every game he's coming out there with 2 goals, 3 goals, like 2 and 1. Like again, he's not Sours, like, but he's like consistently producing. Like when you look at their score line, and I think he scored when they won in wasn't San Diego, it was the next week. I think he scored the last 2. Ross Scott scored the last 2 goals of the game. So like you're starting to find like, okay, here's some pros, and then like the rookie Eicher, he only had, he didn't have his best game, 11 shots. He shot 1 for 11. So not his best game, but he's active. He looks the part out there. So it's like you're probably a year away. Like you need 1 or 2 more legit pieces on this offense to put with Ross Scott and Owen Hiltz. And like, we'll see with Eicher. I think I heard he has 2 years before the service stuff's going to come up. So they'll get at least one more year out of him. So like, they're not that far away again. But you can go back and look at their scores from the season and it's like, there's no game where they're getting to 15. And I think to win a championship in this league, like you got it in one of your playoff games. It might not be, you don't know which one, but you're going to need to win a playoff game with 15 goals. Like if you look over the past couple of years, that's been the case. It's either the championship or it's the semifinal. Like somewhere you're going to have to put up that 13, 14 goal game against the Atlas or the Water Dogs or the Cannons or somebody in order to get that win. I just don't know that they can be successful.
If I am the Carolina Chaos, right? If I am the Carolina Chaos right now, I am trading Austin Kaut to the California Redwoods for either players or picks because the California Redwoods need a goalie. They do not have a goalie. Austin Kaut has been, he's obviously backing up plays. But dude, I think they should get active in the trade. That they should pick players up or get picks with something you got. I think you need to trade Austin Kaut. Blaze Reardon's your starter. You can pick somebody up in the player pool to back him up. You don't need because I think Kaut could be a starter in this league. It's an
interesting thought. It's an interesting thought for sure. So, all right, we were quickly kind of through the last game here. It kind of what I I mentioned this could happen, but like one of these games from the Water Dogs on offense, it was just kind of like they just didn't really have any pep in their step. And the broadcast is just like all about Cursed, which I get. It makes sense, but like he couldn't do anything. I mean, they Boyle mentioned it at the end, like Bernhardt's first game, he didn't do anything. Like Cursed is going to be fine. Like
He hasn't
he
played
got off
lacrosse in a
some
month and a half. Had an
dude, and
arm
he got off
injury.
some shots and like some looks where I was like, yeah, that he looks fine. But you do wonder, like, it is a little tricky with an offense that's humming, and now you're like, are you? I couldn't tell. It seemed like he was at attack some, he was at midfield some, right? Like they moved guys around. Like sometimes that's always not ideal. Like to have like you have this piece that you have to fit in. I mean, again, I look at the Outlaws and I wonder if you don't just like commit to Curse at midfield, but then they're so good at midfield. Who do you bump out of that first line midfield for him? But it's like they were just it was working so well. So I'm not like he's gonna make them better. They're gonna have to figure out how to use him there. But they go as sour. Like they just didn't have like that energy or excitement to play that that when they're great that they have, which we talked about it, they do this. Like it's not a game where they really really needed to win. I mean, you could make an argument they did, but like they're safely in the playoffs and they kind of just trot out here and they get up. Sauer scores 5 straight goals, they get up 5-0, and then they just like kind of stop playing, which again we've seen them do. No alarm bells for me with the Water Dogs. It's just kind of like this is kind of who they are sometimes, but they're not going to be like this in playoff games, so I don't really like worry about them very much.
Yeah, and I watching him play in the game, he had like some really good looks at cage, missed a couple, goalie made a couple saves, but like, man, him, Sowers, and McCardle. Obviously he's a lefty. I mean, putting Cursed at X-Man and having Sowers on that right side, and then McCardle on the left side, and then you have like then Sowers can go to X, and Cursed is really good off ball. Like he moves very well. I think you got to bring Taylor out of the box. He hasn't been scoring the last 2 weeks. Hasn't been scoring again. He's doing things off the ball that's opening his teammates up. I think you have got to take your number 1 overall draft pick and you have got to insert him at attack. You have to. I just don't see how you can't. Obviously, he's getting a pole up top. We talked about it. He hasn't played midfield. Has he ever played midfield at Cornell? Like you're throwing him at the midfield. He's a great player. He's going to figure it out. But like, I think you're doing a disservice to him not putting him in attack. I think if you put him in attack this game, I think he.
What do you think though about like Kieran and him? Like you got like lefty guys that operate on that lefty wing. It's just kind of an off balanced situation.
I just think I think he's good off the ball. I think he's an unselfish player. I think you leave McCardle on that left side and you put him if Sowers at X, he's dodging from X. I think he can be on that right wing and he can just work inside, and he's very two-handed. McCardle is not really two-handed, so I think I just think he would do well there. I think you leave McCardle where he's at, and then obviously him and McCardle can run 2-man games and stuff.
Yeah. No, and I like agree. Like they're going to be fine, and they're all smart enough players. Like they will figure that out. It's just like it's just fit is such a thing, and like it's just so. We saw it with O'Neal and the Outlaws. Like it's taken them a while to kind of like really get an offense that can feature him. And like Kieran and Sowers have such great chemistry with the X and lefty wing. And now you have this generational lefty wing talent. And it's like Kieran McCardle's like 6 all-time in points or something. Like so it's like in 2 years or maybe even next year, if McCardle decides to retire, great, plug and play. But until then, it's I'm not saying it can't work. It's just like a little bit of a tricky equation that they're gonna have to solve is how do these guys play together again?
Yeah,
I don't worry about them.
Like call out like Zach Kerr had a great game, 5 ground balls, scored 2 huge goals. Like he's playing really well. I think he touched on that or called that out last week. Yeah. But also Ben Ware, fix your goddamn lacrosse stick. He had 3 step down twos, and I think they like went right into the ground. And then TJ Malone dodged him, and he sent his freaking stick in outer space. Like that kid's playing. He's been playing great for them. He takes some stupid penalties from time to time, but.
Let's call it like it is though. The Whip Snakes, Sowers comes out and scores 5 goals, and then the Water Dogs put it into cruise control, and the Whip Snakes just battle back. And like I just think the Whip Snakes defense, like Dunn and Mueller, and like and Ajax is a perfect fit in there with them. Like that, it's just a good unit. Like they're so like they end up clamping down and they make adjustments and they make it hard on the Water Dogs, and then that mixed with the Water Dogs kind of going cold. And then the Whip Snakes offense, like they just get it. They find enough right? And like had been so high on kind of this young crew. Matt Brandau, 4 fourth quarter goals.
Yeah.
Ultimately is the guy that wins this game for Whips. He did it dodging, he did it off ball. I feel pretty vindicated because I've been saying like the guy's like 5th all time in points in college. We talked about that doesn't always mean it's going to translate, but like the guy is talented and like he shows up. Now, are they too like Aiden Carroll looked like he was the next big thing, and now he's kind of disappeared a little bit. TJ Malone, like he still looks good, but obviously he's going to get a ton of attention and he's going to get number 1 matchups and he's going to get slid to like. So they need Levi Anderson like randomly will have big games and then randomly kind of doesn't do much. Like they just need a little more consistency from these young guys. Patra like not finding the goal as much. Like so I still think they've got the guys down there on offense, but obviously like it was like a slow grind to get to 10 it like. And then again, it was a big 4th quarter from Brandau that ultimately like pushes them over the hump. Rambo's in an attack for Rob. I mean, kind of interchangeable. Like I like vibes wise, I like seeing Rambo out there. Guys, elite teammate vibes for sure. He didn't, you didn't get a ton out of him. Like I don't know that you walk away from this game and you say, okay, let's stick with Rambo over Rob. Like you scored 10 goals. So it still feels like they don't totally know who they are on offense, which is concerning, but you watch the Cannons lose, you come out and you beat one of the best teams in the league in the Water Dogs, and now you and the Cannons are sitting there with the same record and you've got like plus 10 on goal differential over them. So at this point, they control their own destiny. Yeah. If you win out, I mean, what do we got? 3 games left. If you're the Whip Snakes and you go 3-0, you're going to be, and I think they're probably in a bye. Oh no, they're probably in a bye one of those weekends because I think they have the same exact record as the Cannons, right?
Yeah.
3 and 4.
Goal differential, obviously they're winning that department. But yeah,
they've all 7 games actually. So I don't know that any of them. No, because the Cannons have a bye this weekend.
They have a bye this weekend.
So all of those teams at some point must have a bye because every team has played 7 games in the league right now.
Yeah. Yep.
So every team has a bye at some point in these last 3 games. Is that how that works?
Yeah. Yep. Or they already had it. So I'm getting the first. Like,
but if they already had it, they wouldn't all be at. If any team's already had it, they wouldn't be at 7 games. They're
depending
all
on their
7 games.
Depending on their doubleheader weekend, right? They could have their doubleheader and then the bye on that. Yeah, but the Whip Snakes, man, like again, their offense, I think they should be putting up more numbers with some of the guys they have in there. Patra didn't score anything. Levi Anderson wasn't very great in this game. But shout out, Tim Mueller apparently in that first half, there was a huddle. He had said something. The media team didn't catch it. And then Matt Dunn in the locker room was calling fucking people out. He got very animated in the locker room. It was actually a really good,
great speech,
very good speech by him. And I think that's what
I love a good locker room speech. They get Blaze with them. That one from Dunn, I like that.
Dunn was great. He was obviously visibly you could see he could see that the guys weren't playing hard, and him calling them out, and that speech happened at the right moment because they came out in that second half. They put up 8, and the defense held them to 2 goals, which won them the game, right? Their defense won this game for them. And then Carroll in between the pipes, it looks like they have a starter there now. He was 63%, but shout out their defense, man. And then Colin Squires, I think, Ryan Boyle actually made a good point on this. He's because people just see the Whip Snakes and they keep the Earhart comparisons. It's let's call it for what it is. The Squires kid makes plays, does what he does, plays deep, doesn't get beat very much, and picks up huge fucking ground balls for them. And then the backup pole, I forget his name. He had 2 clutch runouts. I don't know the kid's name.
Yeah.
He had 2
do that again.
Runouts.
Do that one more week again, buddy, and we'll have your name on. We'll have your name.
Again, we'll call
give me one more week of making a couple plays, and then we're gonna be talking about you. You're right. I know the exact plays you're talking about. I don't know his name. You're right about Squires. He's solid.
And they're all going to be in games. Nardell is the best faceoff guy in the league right now. He's going to win you possessions. But, their defense has stepped up, especially in this game against one of the best offenses in the league. But, that speech from Dunn, I think, and whatever Mueller had said before that, I think those two care a lot. They've been in that locker room for a really long time. Obviously, they have some new pieces, and I think the young guys probably finally were okay, we got to fucking start playing our game. And they came out, they answered the bell, and we'll see what they do next week. But, that defense shut the door and did what they had to do to win that game. So
I just think it's the ability to communicate like that. Again, I think Blaze, we've seen a bunch from over the years from him. Dunn is a quiet dude in general who leads through example, in his work ethic and how he plays. And but then to see how he can communicate with, like, he's articulate. It's he's not just saying shit to say shit. What he's saying makes sense, and there's like fire there. I just think for a fan at home, like I'm watching that fired up. Like I think that is such good content. Like because that doesn't happen every game, and it shouldn't happen every game. Like I'm probably guilty of this. Like there's a lot of people who can give speeches or whatever, and it's like you do it so much that it loses its value. But when you have a guy that can communicate like that, like he communicates like a head coach,
Yep.
who can sense the moment of it's time, like the team needs to hear from me right now on a couple things. It can change a game. Like it can change a game
And it did.
when you see your leader do that. And to your point, they give up 2 goals and they score 8 in the second half. Like he deserves. I mean, just what an all time great really he's become. He deserves a ton of credit. And I just for all the shit they do, I love that. I love when there's a meaningful moment in the locker room and we get to see it and hear it, because I think that's just like a really you don't get that in every sport. You don't get to see and hear what went down at halftime. And by the way, most halftimes that doesn't happen. Like for the fans at home, like most halftimes it's very like tactical. Like, hey, go in, take a break, take a sip, and then offense, defense split up, get out the iPad, look at what's happening, talk about adjustments. Okay, let's go. Like it's not rah most halftime. So like occasionally that's needed, and you get a moment like that, and it's really cool. So good job, PLL media team, for sharing it. I love that. So let's look ahead really quick, and then
big conference matchups. It's an all conference matchups this next week, so it's gonna be a good one.
So Chaos Outlaws, 8 p.m. on Friday, August 1st. Water Dogs Cannons. Am I looking at? No, I'm looking at Denver. Sorry, my bad. Redwoods Archers, Friday, July 25th. My bad. Let's fix this.
This
Archers
is a
weekend. So
Archers weekend. You better win that fucking first game because you got Denver Outlaws in that second game.
Yeah. So Archers, Redwoods, Whipsnakes Atlas, Water Dogs Chaos, and then Outlaws Archers. So look, here's a couple things I'll highlight, and I'd love to hear what you're thinking about from this weekend. You're totally right. The Archers have the Outlaws. I mean, if you're the Archers, you got to get one of these two, and it really doesn't matter which one. If the Redwoods jump on you, got to go beat the Outlaws. But if you get one of these two, you're pretty much solidifying yourself in the playoffs at this point. And you just would like to see again steps in the right direction from them offensively would be the goal. Last season they had incredible hometown support in Utah, so will be fun to watch to see if the crowd shows up again and if they show up as pro Archers, as which I expect they will. As any kind of hometown advantage has been. So that's worth watching. Again, the Whipsnakes, you have a chance to really put. So the Cannons, like this becomes a big weekend for you sitting on the couch. Like if the Whipsnakes win, you like over the Atlas, that puts a fuck ton of pressure on the Cannons because then the Whipsnakes are essentially one win away from. Like
they want the chaos. They want the chaos and the Whipsnakes to lose, in my opinion, right? Yeah, they want. Yeah, you want the Atlas.
Yeah, because the Water Dogs could come back to them a little bit, and they have that game against the Water Dogs. So like, that it's going to be a big game on the couch or a big weekend on the couch for the Cannons. Because what sucks about the Cannons is you don't control your own destiny now. I don't think you don't.
Depending on what happens this weekend. Depending on what happens this weekend.
Yeah, what happens this weekend. But so. Can the Whipsnakes show up and because I think they beat the Atlas earlier this season with that like second half surge? Can they do that again? Predictions.
Yeah. I think the Redwoods Archers game. Archers, it's a must win. You can't lose this game. I'm going with the Archers by 2 in that game against the Redwoods. You just want me to go through mine and then you can go do yours?
Or just like if it's not every game, just what is 1 or 2 bold one, whatever. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, so I think the Archers are going to win that one by 2. It's a must win for them because obviously the Denver Outlaws are hot. You do not want to play them on tired legs, dropping an egg, going 0-1 in your first game. So I'm going with the Archers in that one. Coach Bates was all fired up at the end of the game, so maybe they're gonna that win against the Chaos. Maybe that's gonna move things in the right direction for them. We'll see. That second game. I think that's the game of the week. I think Whipsnakes Atlas, it's the game of the week. Rivalry, obviously the championship controversy last year, end of the game, overtime, and then it's just a massive, massive game for the Whipsnakes. They know if they win this game, they're going to put the Cannons in the bad spot, and pretty much I think if they win this game, they're almost certainly making the playoffs. So this is going to be a big game. It's going to be a huge game, and it's going to be interesting to see if they dress Matt Rambo or Rob Pennell's going to come back in the lineup off that wedding. We'll see, but like, yeah, man.
At least it's a great
game
spot. Prime time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus.
But that's a big game. I am going, man. This is a tough one.
Yeah,
I'm
stop
gonna
thinking.
I'm gonna go New York Atlas here, just because of the amount of points that attack unit has put up. The Whip Snakes are gonna have their hands full. Are they capable of doing it? Absolutely. But I'm gonna go with the Atlas by 1 goal, 15-16 high scoring game. Before we go to the next slate, let's get your thoughts on those first two games.
Archers, Atlas, Water Dogs, Archers. My bold prediction for the weekend is the Archers are going to go 2-0. Bates comes in swagging off of kind of an ugly win. The Archers in Utah are going to have a great crowd support.
Tom Schreiber, 12 points.
It's finally going to happen. They're going to find their stride. They're going to win 2 games and get themselves in the playoffs. And now we're going to be looking at it like, well, fuck. Like, are the Archers going to like? That's because like Trey, like people are getting back in the mix. So my bold predictions: Archers go 2-0. I agree that the Atlas are going to beat the Whips. That's going to be a battle. I agree that's the game of the weekend. I just think the Water Dogs have too much for the Chaos. Offensively, it just is what it is. Like the Chaos will make it closer than it should be, probably. But I just think the Water Dogs are the better team there, and I think it's going to be a great crowd. Utah has shown up over and over again. It's a perfect example of the hometown working. I think we'll see it in Boston, right, where they'll be very pro Cannons because there's like a legacy Cannons fan base that already exists in Boston, and we saw it last year. Like the Boston crowd will be very pro Boston, the Denver crowd will be very pro Outlaws, the Utah crowd will be very pro Archer. Like I just like seeing that, and I even think you're starting to see it in California, the Redwoods. Like it's great where you don't get it as much as you don't get it in Baltimore. Like it wasn't pro Whip Snakes because it's just so many lacrosse fans there, and like half the kids in the crowds have like big brothers that play for different teams and shit. Like, so
yeah, man. To finish my predictions, I think I'm going Chaos over the Water Dogs in a 1-goal game.
Wrong.
Just because they're not going to put Cursed Attack, they're going to bring them out of the midfield again. I'm going to go. I'm going with Blaze, and then I'm going to go. Archers are going to go 2-0 on the weekend. I'm with you on that one, but man. I know we probably don't have to look this far ahead, but looking ahead, whatever happens this weekend, and then obviously the Cannons in Denver, I kind of want things to shape out to the point where it's Whip Snakes versus the Cannons for a playoffs, maybe for a playoff.
In the last game of the season, Saturday night in Boston. The tough part is that's the back half of a doubleheader for Boston.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh yeah, this is getting good, man. It's getting good.
Spicy.
Like it's definitely the Eastern Conference is where the fun is. Like the Western Conference, it just unless something changes, it just seems like the Redwoods are going to fall to the bottom. And
also, you have the 2 TV games that weekend, or the Atlas Water Dogs. I mean, obviously the teams that are winning get TV games, but I would love to see that ESPN2 or that ABC flex to that Whip Snakes Cannons game because that's going to be an absolute
I do agree, but also Atlas Water Dogs could be for the bye.
Could be.
Like that also could be, which is basically like playing a quarterfinal game because if you get that bye, you're in the semifinals. Like that makes a big difference. So, oh man, all right, all good stuff coming up. Salt Lake City, Archers homecoming.
I'm on my way out to Salt Lake City Thursday. I might make the games. We'll see. I might just pull my car with all my shit on my car into the game Saturday and be on the sideline. We'll see.
My birthday. Saturday is my birthday, so that's also how you know the Archers are going to be the Outlaws because.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Obviously, they'll be talking about that in the thing.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Nothing, man. Nothing. It's you get to this stage in life, you just be lucky if I, we'll see, but nothing really too fun. Hopefully, I'll get to watch the game and time with my daughter. That's all.
All right, there we go. That's all you want. Yeah.
All right, cool. Good show. Peace.